Evening all, welcome to Kicking Dust. Today's match I present to you is a wonderful example of when you really do go balls out to destroy your enemy. Now, this is really part of the SP event, the triple SP event, and I can tell you that thing has almost broken my mind. Took a long time to get all of those SPs, but now I've done it, I'm quite pleased I did actually, and I've got to admit I actually had quite a blast doing it. I think Dust is definitely one of these games that if you kind of maybe drift away from it for a while, when you come back, it's pretty hard to get back into it. Probably true of any game, to be honest with you. But anyway, so in this particular example, I was being snipe-head or shot-head from somewhere above. And look, it's from them. Now, it took me a while to figure that out because A, I'm stupid, and B, I'm stupid. And as you can see, they've set up their little camp up there. Now, what I present to you here is really the efforts of a group of very determined players who will do anything to destroy the opponent. And me, which obviously I'm kind of more than happy to have a go at people, but generally I'm not too sure. So I was kind of sitting here saying, what do we do, guys? And they were like, we've got a plan. So really, I think this is a wonder of certainly the game as it stands at the moment. It's feeling very good. The last video I did, I think, did come across as a bit, preachy and whingy, which is probably not a bad thing. But this is the whole subtext of that previous video was I'm not sure if it's bad or good that the TTK, that's time to kill, is very high now, because when you play things like Battlefield 4, TTK in that is ridiculously high. Literally you walk around a corner and they'll breathe on you, and then you're on the floor, literally coughing up your intestines. It's just the way the game is, and I think Dust has maybe gone a bit closer to that. Now, some really good comments posted about the fact that you shouldn't have a high TTK game with suits that cost you ISK. So in Battlefield you don't pay, there's no economy, whereas in this there is. So I agree with that. I think that's a very prudent and good point. But it's just going to be something I think we just have to grin and bear with. It was a massive issue when the patch came. And what I noticed is that over time I adapted to this. I think people have got, there are certain groups that you come across that are just incredibly good at the game. They have a ridiculously good aim and they're using really good damage modified weaponry. So you're going to lose to them because they're pretty good. There's also an issue, I think, of modded controllers, which I'm doing a bit of an undercover expose on at the moment. So if you know anything about modded controllers, give me an email. Do it in secrecy. Just send me. You don't have to mention any in-game names. Just let me know really what you think is going on or what you know is going on. Because from what I can tell, from a little bit of testing we've done, there is a phenomenon with assault rifles where if you literally tap fire, not hold the trigger button, but tap fire, so tap 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 tap, your accuracy is dead on every time. And I think that's what a lot of players are doing. And all it is either they're just tapping or they've modified their controllers. And I know people are using things like PS, or rather Xbox 360 controllers, etc. So I know this is going on. I'm curious to find the extent to which it is. Anyway, that's a topic for another video. As it stands today, as you can see, Deeper's FAC basically went for it. Look at that, he's kamikazed himself up there with the dropship, and he's taking them down. It's looking really good, but then, no, he's he gets taken down. So here we go, dropship number 2. Now, this I think is what sets Dust aside from anything, because literally they're above us, they're on a point, and we're spawning dropships just to come get them. And before you post a comment, I know I missed. I'm an idiot. I'm a bell end. I completely misjudged the drop. This was probably my 12th game in a row at this point. I was getting pretty tired. That's my excuse. But look, I realised that again the team's taking it. We're kind of getting shot down, and it's like, right, my bros need me, so here we go. I call in my own. And what we should have done is called in a dropship with a clone bay gone really high, let them jump down, and Bob's your mother's brother. It would have been sorted. However, we weren't thinking terribly cogently, and we just went for it, which is part of the game. That's the way you've got to play these things. Now, again, let's talk maybe some more about this, the 1.6 patch. I think a lot of people are kind of sort of unhappy, let's say, with the complete change of the game, so that your tank doesn't really matter anymore. Well, I don't know. I think you probably need to think again that there maybe is something in the game that is very negative at the moment, and it's probably not necessarily the fittings or the TTK or anything like that. It could just be that, you know, you're kind of now experiencing the casual gamer versus the hardcore gamer. And, you know, there are people who have played this game, and we worked it out. Bear, for example, he's the #1 player in terms of kills in the game. And we worked out that, you know, let's assume this game has been going for about 2 years. It means that every single day for 2 years, he has had to kill, I think we worked out, 160 people, which, you know, I mean, that's phenomenal. And that is a commitment. That is a phenomenal commitment from, you know, a player to a game. And that's assuming he plays every day. If he doesn't play every day, then, oh my God, it's like, you know, that's 7, 8, 9 matches a day, every day, at least. So, you know, and you know, if let's say he does 5 days a week, then it's 12 to 13 matches a day. It's these kind of things. You just have to accept that there will always be very, very hardcore gamers out there, particularly because Dust is free to play, particularly because it's a good game, and I stand by that. It's a very, you know, enjoyable free to play first person shooter. Let's not forget that. You know, some people don't play Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3, Call of Duty, because A, there's a cost, and B, it's a different game entirely. People, you know, there is a market for this game, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think it, you know, this is maybe the difference between somebody like me. I mean, people think I play a lot. I don't. I play maybe 3-4 days a week to cap out, and then I don't play anymore. I go off and do other things. I'm usually editing mostly. I try and play as much as I can, but certainly I would not put myself as a hardcore gamer for Dust. I am far from it. I would say I'm a casual gamer for Dust, whereas there are players who will play every day, and they'll play, you know, a good, you know, 5 to 10 to 15 matches a day, getting, you know, 50 to 100 to 150 kills a day. So you have to kind of accept that there are just going to be some people out there whose skill level and level of comfort with the game is just way above your own. So even if you're like a really pretty hardcore player, the chances are there's somebody more hardcore than you. And I think maybe that's all it's been, is that, quite frankly, there have been some really good hardcore players who have been absolutely proto-stomping and killing people, you know, in seconds, that have created this kind of, you know, almost myth, if you like, that the game is broken. Because I just don't think it is. After some reflection, after some thought and some analysis, I honestly would say Dust is fine. I would say the issue is that due to matchmaking still being very, very restricted, a casual gamer like me will go up against Bear pretty much every time. If I go into an ambush, I'm against Bear because of the skill points. But the level of ability of those two players is far, you know, it's a massive gap between both. So, you know, the way to kind of, I guess, breach this gulf, if you like, is to maybe put some more elements into matchmaking. Maybe how many, you know, what's your average daily Dust, you know, quota? How many matches do you play? What's your win-loss? What's your this, that, and the other? Because I think at the moment it's just on skill points, and maybe it's just 3 or 4 bans. But I think that's wrong. I think you need maybe 10 bans. Maybe it needs to be like War Thunder, where, to be honest, there's 20 bans. And what it is if you're a level 15, then you'll fight generally level 14, 15, and 16, and so on. And it's just the band above you and below you. I think this is maybe needed, because I think at the moment too many players are kind of, you know, I mean, mid-level players I would call probably are, you know, 10 million skill points. They're getting used to the game. They're what I call probably a veteran by now, but I think they're kind of then going up against Bear and, you know, 20, 25 million skill point characters, but also people who play religiously almost every day. And I think that kind of maybe is the issue here, not necessarily the suit thing. I don't know, post in the comments, let me know what you think. I just think at the moment that, you know, the game feels quite good, and yeah, the more matches I'm playing, the more I'm finding that I'm adapting to it, and that I'm kind of more comfortable with it. And you just know that if you go into a particular battle with, you know, the same kind of faces, with the same people, you know, there are probably maybe a dozen people in the game that I know if I go up against, they have the most accurate shot I've ever seen in my life. They're going to run the best fits. They're going to insta me every time. So I hate to say it, but I don't play them. You know, I would rather sit and snipe, or I'd rather just sit in MCC, you know, camp while I serve the Dust Forum than actually play these characters. I know that's a bit wimpy, but I'm going to be honest with you. You know, at the end of the day, they are better than me by a long way. And I, as a casual gamer, I can never hope to be as good as some of these people who I know play probably, you know, 50 matches a day and are really good, you know, shots. And I think that's kind of it. I think, you know, to be honest, I don't really feel that Dust is broken. to be all at all. To be honest, I think the issue really is the fact that there's just so many good players out there now that play religiously, and maybe that's the way, you know, to fix this. You know, they don't necessarily need to change the game. Actually, what they need to do is redo matchmaking, so that, I don't know, maybe the number of wins and losses, maybe if they can capture how many minutes you play a day on average, that's quite a good metric as well. Because I think then you would have casual gamers playing casual gamers, and then you'd have a hardcore playing hardcore, and that'd be pretty fun, I think. And that's not really anything you can cheat, you know what I mean? And I think as you play more, you're obviously going to be more skilled, and then you'll move more into the tiers that actually then are, you know, more kind of hardcore players. But I don't know. I think the answer is in matchmaking. I don't think it's in nerfing the AR. I don't think it's in, you know, the mechanics of the game. I think it's maybe in the way that we're kind of all being thrown into matches. So there we go. Fantastic stuff. I think, you know, hopefully you enjoyed that video. That was a real good example of, you know, almost taking out the bugs as they spawn around us. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.